Okay, guys, I'm showing you this to first start the video to give you a sense of what we're going to be dealing with today. This is called a protractor and basically measures angles, measures all types of angles. And you've maybe used one before in the past. I hope you have. And if you see it, it goes either way. It goes from this way to 90 and then to 180. Or if you did the other way, it would go 90, 180, whatever side you're working along here. So now when I look at this one here, if I go from here to here, this is a 90-degree angle. You see the L, and then you see my other L here. So 90 plus 90 gives me the 180. I want you to think of this almost like a windshield wiper. When you think of windshield wiper, if I put this here in my wiper, and I know it's one wiper, usually cars have two, but this is covering 180 degrees. And what we call this angle, and I'm just going to draw a straight angle here. This angle here is actually called a straight angle, and straight angles are 180 degrees, okay? And if I kept going all the way around, we know if we did a full circle, it would be another 180, it would be 360 to go all the way around it, okay? So let's just deal with this first. And now I want you to see, we're still dealing with triangles. So yesterday we talked about all three angles in a triangle should total equal 180. And I want to show you kind of a way to see it. So you see my three angles here. I'm actually going to cut them out. So I'm going to cut this angle out. I'm going to cut this angle out. And I'm also just going to cut a piece of this angle out. So what's left here is I have my three angles here. And then I have my middle part of my triangle. That's actually, we're just going to put that to the side. And we're just going to deal with these angles right here. And when we talk about these angles, I'm going to move it down a little. These three angles, I'm going to take the protractor out again, and we're going to talk about these measurements on the protractor. So if I do the protractor here, I put it right in the middle, and you can see, if I measure this out, put it right there in the middle. If I measure this out, it's close to be about, if I keep extending this line, it's about 52 degrees. It's about 52 degrees. So we're going to call that 52. All right, and then if I measure this one out, put that right here, this is going to be close to just about 70 degrees. And then if I do this one here, this one looks smaller, right? And I really want you to get good at looking at the angles itself. Like if I make a peace sign here, you can see the different sizes of the angles. And you should be able to see that this angle is bigger than this angle. Just look at the size of it. Look at the mouth of it. Think of it as Pac-Man in the mouth size. Now this one, let's take a look at this angle measure. And if we're being pretty precise here, this one looks to be a little less than 60. We'll call it about 58 degrees. All right, now I have these three angles. And I measured them with the protractor, but let's go even further and try to put these on my perfect protractor here. If I put this one here, let's just see if I lay that down here. And let's see, what if I lay this one down here? Interesting. All right, and then what if I fit this guy right in here? Interesting, when you put all three of these angles together, you see I put them all together, they end up equaling at 180 degrees. If I was to take a picture of this guy right now and I jumped into here, you'd be able to see that this from here to here, that's 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So this angle plus this angle plus this angle. So think of this angle, that this straight angle obviously is 180. You're going to be using that 180 idea a ton. So I want to make sure you have that in your head. All right, so let's go back to my camera here. Now, let's go ahead and do some practice problems now. Okay, so you can see, and let's go over what we did yesterday. So if you have your paper out, all right, go ahead and take your paper out, and let's go ahead and try this first one. So I'm going to go ahead and draw one out. Just draw a triangle out. Doesn't have to be crazy perfect. And what's going to happen today? You're going to see triangles like this today. And I'm just going to start you off with this one. I'm not even going to really mess with this one yet. I just want you to get familiar that you're going to start to see triangles today that look like this. But here's your problem. I'm going to make this X. I'm going to make this 30 degrees. And I'm going to make this one 45 degrees. Go ahead and try to solve for X. What I want to see when you solve for X is an equation. So X plus 30 plus 45, and we just talked about all three of these angles equal 180 degrees. All right, now you're going to combine like terms, get 75, and then you're going to move your constant to the right. All right, bring this down, you're going to get X equals 105 degrees. Now here's the deal. Your equation skills, this is algebra, this is geometry, this is algebra. You're going to be doing this freshman year and this sophomore year, but the algebra comes back into play in the geometry class. You have to be good with your equation skills. This one was simple. The next one I give you will not be, okay? It'll be a little more complicated. All right, let's do the next one. Your triangle doesn't have to look beautiful, but let's go ahead and just put this here. Again, I'm still going to leave this here. You're going to be like, what does this mean, Marusik? We're going to talk about this next, okay? But I want you to deal with this first. So if I'm dealing with this one, I'm going to say this is 3x. This is x plus 12. And then this one's going to be, let's say, if we call this one 8, let's see, I'm doing it in my head right now, 68 degrees. Okay. Now, how would you set this one up? Go ahead and try to solve it. Set up your equation. 3x plus, we're going to take this, plus this, x plus 12, plus this, 68, and then what's it all going to equal? Okay, 180 degrees. Combine your like terms. I have 4x, and what about these terms? 12 and plus 68 is going to equal 80, equals 180. Subtract 80. You get 100. Divide 4 at the end. There's 4 quarters and a dollar. There's 4 25s and 100. Okay. Now let's get into today's unit. This is all yesterday's content. You should be good with this. Let's go into today's content. And let's talk about this idea of a straight angle again. So I'm going to use graph paper this time just to make it a little easier for you to see the straight line. And if I was to ask you again right now, what is the measure of this full angle? If I asked you right now, if I'm going to put a point here, the measure of this full angle is 180 degrees, correct? 180 degrees, you know that. But this is what the problem is going to look like. So I take this here, 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 and it's going to say, what does x equal on this side if you know what, let's say this is 50 degrees. Now, real quick, talk with your partner. How could you figure this out? You could even set up an equation if you had to. And the equation I look at is this 50 plus x equals, doesn't it equal 180? So to solve it, what plus 50 equals 180? You just do simple math here. You get 130 degrees. This is an exterior angle, okay? Exterior angle, and that's what we're going to be dealing with today. Exterior angle. See how it's on the outside of the triangle? It's not that difficult to figure out though, because you just have to think of the windshield wiper. The whole thing equals 180. All right, let's do one that's a little more complicated. All right, I'm going to draw a triangle again. Same kind of idea. You're going to see these a ton. And I'm going to say this is x and this is y. Okay, and I'm going to give you the measure of this one. This is 60 degrees. This is 30 degrees. And go ahead and figure out what x equals and figure out what y equals. And that'll be the last one we go over with you guys today. All right, do the best you can. We're going to go into a rally coach after this and then into the homework.